Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episode 12 of Free Season 2. So, last time we left off on kind of a tense moment between Makoto and, why is his name escaping me? God damn it. Like, I got some of the names down and now his name is escaping me. Maybe it's just because I haven't been awake too long, but I'm usually never awake too long when I record. Yeah, my mind is just blanking on it. But they had a big argument, and it's all stemming from the fear of what to do going forward and everything. But Makoto's got it figured out. He's got a college picked out and everything. So, yeah, this is going to affect things. So we're going to have to see exactly how and what goes on for these last parts of the relay and everything. So I'm not going to waste any time, mostly because I can't think right now for some reason. My mind is blanking on a lot of things. Haru, that's his name, by the way. Haru. Um, but either way, I just want to get on with this. This is the second to last episode of the season. Next week we will be finishing out this season of Free, and the following week we will be starting the new season of My Hero Academia. So yeah, look forward to that. But yeah, in the meantime, we will be finishing off Free Season 2. As for Season 3, we will get to that as soon as we can. Hopefully it won't take as long as it took to get to Season 2. But we'll see. We will see. In the meantime, let's just get this going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I looked things up briefly in between recording the reaction and now, to see if I missed something. Because I felt like there for a second at the end, like, did I miss something? But no. Apparently, it was as straightforward as it seemed. Haru just basically got his passion for swimming reignited and just found his dream as swimming. What he wants to do with his life post high school. And it's like, with how good this season has been, this is disappointing. For a couple reasons. One, like I said at the end of the reaction, we already knew this about him. This not only isn't a surprise, it's super anticlimactic. Like, you have this big arc going on during, especially the second half of this season, about Haru trying to figure out what he wants to do, stressing over it, and eventually even getting to the point where he's like getting angry about it, where he's fighting with his friends about it. And oh, by the way, I found out the Australia thing, like, it slightly confused me at first, But apparently there was a post-credits scene last time that I missed. Um, because I tend to not to even think about there being a possible post-credits scene with these shows. So it's like it didn't matter. Like I got the context of it like real quick. So it wasn't a big deal. Usually that's how those post-credit scenes works. You can end up not seeing them and you'll still be fine. Um, but yeah, it's like with all of this build up, and especially with the fight with Makoto last episode, the big, you could say, reveal with Haru about finding his dream and having it just be that he wants to swim, it's like that is super anticlimactic and super weak. Because again, we already knew this. We've known this pretty much since episode 1 of season 1. Like, there was never any doubt that was his dream, that was his goal. But that wasn't what was being built up here. And I think that's what bothers me the most about it. Because what was being built up here wasn't about like what he's passionate about. Because again, that's always been obvious. It was more about what he was going to do post high school. And just having the reveal being like he found his dream being swimming, and so I guess that means he's going to swim after high school. It's like we expected that. Not only did we expect that, but it's like that was pretty much a guarantee. Again, from the first episode. This this doesn't feel like a proper like closure to this entire arc that Haru has been having. It feels like they're just retreading what we already know because they couldn't figure anything else out for him. It feels like they couldn't figure anything else out for Haru that they could feel would make sense. And so they just decided to retread again what we already know and paint it as something new. And it's really jarring. Because with how good the season has been, especially in regards to this plot line, it just feels so weak in comparison. It feels so just poorly handled. Like finding out that Reen is planning on asking to get into his old coach's team and everything here in Australia, like that's new information. When we find out what Makoto's planning to do, that's going to be new information. Most likely. But this is like it's just it boggles my mind how just dumb that is. Because it's something we already entirely knew. Maybe it's just me that bothers so much, but it just feels like a poor writing decision. Because even if you go with the fact that his passion was reignited after having like kind of gone down a little bit due to all the stresses and stuff lately, it's like it's still not giving us anything new. Again, that's the point here. But anyways, so this episode was basically a sightseeing tour. Reen taking Haru around Australia, showing him the sights, introducing him to his homestay family. And that's pretty much it. I mean, until the end, until they got to the aquatic center, I won't say nothing mattered, but it was more about like giving us some backstory about Reen and his time in Australia. And again, it's kind of stuff we really knew about. Like, we knew that he kind of fell down in the dumps during his time in Australia and stuff. Like, that was briefly mentioned before. We just get more detail on it now. And it's just like, it's interesting, and it definitely develops Reen very well. But it feels like it's almost kind of out of nowhere. And not just because I missed the post credit scene last time, but it feels like it just doesn't mesh with the rest of the season. Like, let's be honest, Reen has not been as big a driving factor in this season as he was last one. This one is centered more on Haru specifically, as well as Sosuke, even. And yeah, of course, Reen has had some notable moments, but it hasn't been like he hasn't been a massive focus like he was in season one. Season one, you could say, to a degree, was about him. This season, he was more of a side character. So just having this sudden big development with him, like, I get that it's kind of a parallel to last season, considering last season was all about like Haru rescuing Reen from himself and his own like feelings about things and all. And this one it's kind of doing the opposite. I get that, but at the same time it's also just it just feels like it's out of nowhere to suddenly bring this in. And I'm not saying this like I'm not trying to say like this is bad. I'm not trying to say like this episode was unenjoyable to watch, because no, it was definitely enjoyable to watch. But between Haru's dream and the sudden heavy focus on Reen and his past and all, it just felt like this episode didn't fit with the rest of the season. I don't know. It just felt like with everything the season had been building up, this was very anticlimactic and out of place. I don't know how else to put it. I don't. It just like this kind of episode feels like it would have been more of a good way to end off season one, or even start off season two. But to have it be at this point in season two, especially after that big fight, it feels so out of place. And again, it wasn't bad. It was just more disappointing, I guess you could say. The next episode, the final episode of the season, should finish off the tournament. We should get the final relay and all. And I'm looking forward to that, especially now, because I feel like it needs to focus again on the stuff it was doing. But I also want to see, of course, Makoto talk to Haru about what he's going to be doing. And honestly, I would like to see there be a discussion between all of them about what's going to happen with the next year. Because two of them are going to be gone, half of the club, outside of, their manager and the teacher aide. Half of the actual club members are going to be gone. So I feel like they should probably discuss what's going to happen with that. I feel like that's kind of necessary because they really haven't done that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I just don't want this episode or this season to end off so weakly compared to how the rest of the season has been. but we'll see. Um, yeah, I don't really have much of anything else to say about the rest of the Australia trip. It was just those couple things that I really needed to talk about there. So tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of Free Season 2. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.